Hello everyone again. I just wanted to make a special announcement that all of this period of time, we've only got about 15 minutes to do that. But it's limited to all of our participants that want to have a commemorative poster signed, which you normally get when you vote. But we're going to allow a little dispensation here that if you come up with your ballot, we'll know that you're a participant, and we'll give you a commemorative poster. At 11:45, we're over it. Dan's got to go off, so we'll do that right at the main tent. Even though you haven't completed it, bring it up so that you can get a poster. If you do complete it, yeah. If you haven't finished your ballot, that's fine. You can do it later. But at this point, we've got 11:30 to 11:45 commemorative poster signing for the poster, or if you finish the balloting, then you can send it in and get the participants to it. Everybody got that? 11:30 signing. Thank you.
67 24 Hours of Le Mans. And you'll notice the little champagne bottles on the side. So, Dan, you can do one of two things. You can take this champagne home and enjoy it, or you can... You didn't know the bottle was loaded? Yeah.
Well, when I say I have my tank in the 4 GP, they go, well, Dan Gray was 6'8" or something. It's like, well, I'm not that big. You can get in there.
So, like you said, this is perfect timing for the show, and I had nothing to do with it. Just turned out.
That may not have been a good idea. He ended up.
Carl Shelby, and ended up going to Europe in 1965. And I went to Europe as a driver, you know, for the Daytona Coupes, and also a mechanic on the Ford GTs. And I was working in Slough, Ford Advanced Vehicles, which is right next door to Lola Cars. With 6-inch, headers sticking out beyond this beautiful license car. And then in the third car, we actually did David Honcho, owned by a guy named Hayaki Suzuki. He's in Japan. And he did the same thing to it, because what they wanted is, I kind of semi-retired, and I have a shop in Dawson Palms, which is near Palm Springs. And the guy, the promoter for the Quail, and also the Monterey Historics big party event at Monterey Airport, you know, he wanted the car, so I made him in, but I would have the car ready last year. I had to put that project on hold. So I brought him over again. It was just about a year ago, and where's John Hill? John Hill is with John Hill and Robbie, and you know that. And then Ford Motor Company, in fact, John Cunard was very instrumental, and they wanted a car at the Ford exhibit out at the racetrack. It was too late to get into the main concourse of the Elegance, and so consequently we had it out at the track at the Ford exhibit. And so then all of a sudden Jay Leno saw the car, and he could not believe it, and so he I gotta tell you, this guy here, about 10 years ago, he heard that I had this car. We've got kind of an AC crystal common denominator, and he kept saying,
I have a lifelong dream after all this. You know, I am going to get that ACH done.
It was like 1963, 1962.
okay, I was wondering what's next, and so that's it.
That's it. Next year will be the evolution of Cobra. So,
Like that. They're
you
usually
know,
three.
I don't think this is the end. Thank you, Alan. I'm gonna turn the mic over to Lance Standard.
Anyhow, basically the Mark 1 was the GT40 that followed Alan. The Mark 1s were not doing that well in the racing originally, and Ford came to Carroll Shelby and said, Carroll, Ford wins the Mar in 1966, and he's got good reliability at the engine. Ford had a lot of problems with the Mark 1s, and they were fast, but they weren't finishing races, and that was the biggest problem. Any other Mark 2 original manufacturer, the company that holds the licenses on the GT40, so you're not looking at a clone or a replica, you're looking at an original GT40, it's just new. And all skills 66. Went on 67, as you all know, the Mark 4 won, and of course the Mark 1 came back in 66 and 68 and 69. In the Golf livery, which everybody loves, that's going to be the most popular GT40. It's the one we sell the most of. The background on Superforms, we have sold close to the Parliament. So, and also the Ford, what's so amazing about the Mark 1, the actual car was found out 2 years in a row. The actual same car. It was so outclassed, so out. The car that raced the car.
Special order today from the Peterson Automotive.
Yeah, what you see there is a 1967 Mark III. That is the road going version of the GT40. There were only 7. They only made 7 of those cars. Headlights, front headlights. The body was extended just a little bit so that they could put a trunk in. So road going car, there's no storage space in there, so you'd be able to put it in the trunk. So how they did this was, when I flipped the on and up again,
That's an interesting history standpoint that it's probably about, I don't know, 20 years ago. Took my children, my wife, and we went back to Greenfield Village Museum, and I walked in the front doors, about 10 front doors, for those of you who have been there, and lo and behold, right in the middle of the foyer on a stand about 30 inches high that May 6th. And I bought it. Couldn't believe it. And in relationship to what this thing may sell for someday, it was probably the steal of my life. And since then, well, let me back up. Prior to that, the guy I bought it from, he raced it quite a bit and won several events at car shows, including the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance. It's been on the cover of several magazines, original paintings. And one year, his name was Archie Urgioli, for those of you who might know him. He lives in Connecticut. He took it to Bonneville, and it has a straight line speed one way for John Collins, who was one of the mechanics on the car, who's since passed away. He said, "Tom, do you have any idea what that thing weighed when they pushed it, the starting thing full of fuel and oil, water and everything?" I said, "I have no idea." He said, "It weighed 3,500 pounds, which is unbelievable. Because like my T70 Lola that I have, it weighs 1,900 pounds. Till I get in it, then it's 2,100 pounds." So anyway, everywhere I take it, people just have a thrill as they look at it.
That's
My helper.
yes. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie was here. She is kind of the moving force behind here and my contact for Tom. So, Tom, thank you.
Enough that I saw John Kleiner was on that project was the GN34. It was a mid-engine car that was started in the late 80s, or no, the early 80s, and in 85 I was one of the designers on that car. 10 years later, we were fortunate again to start another mid-engine project, and that was the GT90. That was strictly a concept car, and it was very, very advanced looking. I think most people thought it was kind of like a spaceship. 10 years after that, we were asked again to approach the concept of a GT40. In 1999, I started sketching on that vehicle. By 2002, we had a concept car that debuted in Detroit. And it made a very vehicles, and concept cars that I could work at also for. And thanks a lot to Hank for asking me to come here. I brought some artwork. There's some prints on canvas, and I picked out a handful of
Somebody who was so closely associated with every one of these cars through the lineage, and there is one more from 2006, and then Ford started to think about going racing again. So I'd like to introduce to you our Grand Marshal, John Kleiner, who is going to give us everything you always wanted to know about the new Ford GT. And I do have to thank John. He was the force behind this. This was a little idea of mine after knowing Alan for so many years to get this group together, but it wouldn't be complete without one last cause. So, John, thank you.
Thank you. Camilo, I have to continue the story with Camilo because before getting to the new car, in 2005-2006, this redwood here was then his car, and you notice the very bubble on the roof. This was a birthday present from Eddie Guardian to Nat, surprise present, and I was the one who had the privilege of driving the car in front of the restaurant to Nat's surprise, and the bubble was actually put on after the car was built, the Sonic people, and it's one of a kind. And the research on this car, a lot of it was.
That vehicle, the 2005-6, was actually saved by the Gurney Dome because after I did the concept car, they wanted me to raise the car an inch and a half percentile. And we sketched in the engineering drawings the Gurney Dome, we modeled it in clay, and we passed. So we could keep the car nice and low. It would have been terrible to bring it up another 2 inches. We would have never got over it. Breaking that. high, where you got a dome on it. But in 06, after 06, we couldn't pass any of those. I was very surprised that these guys get,
At the same time, meeting the safety standards that are marching along continually. So, a real tribute to the Ford designers that this was accomplished. So, next weekend is, as you know, was badly injured again recently, so he was replaced this year by Tony Kanan from the Ganassi team. But quite a story. Last year, we won, as you know, after 24 hours of racing, we won over the Ferrari by 10.2 seconds. And when he went out 5 o'clock in the morning to begin his stint, after a couple laps, the radio went out. He couldn't communicate with the pits. He couldn't be told if there was a safety car. He of the three riders, Joy and Derek.
Well, that kind of, just go home wraps up the weekend. And I just wanted to, there are some proofs in this, being as the head of this group. It doesn't really matter. But my heart was saying, oh, please stay to this car. So, thank you, John. But, like I said, there are a couple of perks. So when the driver brought the car in this morning, please get those pallets real quick. We're just tallying it up. And we're going to